So the Conservatives have released their manifesto. The problem is that it's 88 pages long and only 27% of people read parties' manifestos. So let me save you some time and I'll run you through the key policies in the Conservatives' 2017 manifesto. The Conservatives commit to eradicating the financial deficit by the middle of the next decade. They will also increase the personal tax allowance from £11,500 to £12,500. This means that you can earn an extra £1,000 before getting taxed. They will also increase the higher tax rate to £50,000 from £45,000. The Tories commit to allowing residents the ability to veto high increases to council tax in a referendum. They will also grant HMRC greater powers to clamp down on smuggling as well as reducing VAT fraud online. The Conservatives want to make sure that we leave the European single market and customs union, but they're looking to develop a deep and special partnership with the EU, which would include free trade and a customs agreement. They will also convert all existing EU law into UK law, and then at a later date allow Parliament to amend, repeal or improve these laws. They also want to stay committed to the European Convention on Human Rights. The Conservatives want to reduce the annual net migration into the UK to a sustainable level, which is in the tens of thousands rather than the hundreds of thousands. They also want to begin to control immigration from the EU. In addition to this, they want to tighten the rules around getting a student visa to enter the UK. They also commit to doubling the immigration skills charge, which should mean companies are charged £2,000 a year for each non-EU worker they employ. They want smart meters to be offered to every business and household by 2020, as well as making it easier to switch energy providers. They will also allow Ofgem to set a cap on energy tariffs. This is part of their plan for the UK to have the lowest energy costs of any European nation. They commit to spending an extra £4 billion on schools by 2022. They will get rid of free school lunches for infants in England, replacing them with free breakfasts for those in primary school. Conservatives also want to create a minimum of 100 new free schools a year, as well as ending the ban on grammar schools. In addition to this, they want to introduce new T levels, which will offer technical qualifications in areas of vocational training, such as hair and beauty and construction. They commit to increasing spending in the NHS by at least £8 billion over the next 5 years. Tories are also retaining their target to deal with 95% of A&E visits within 4 hours. They will also introduce rules requiring foreign workers and students to pay more to cover the costs of the NHS. Conservatives say they will cut corporation tax to 17% by 2020, as well as simplifying the tax system for businesses. They'll make executive pay subject to annual votes by shareholders of companies, and listed companies will be forced to publish a ratio of executive pay, as well as companies who employ more than 250 people being forced to publish information regarding the pay gap between men and women. They also want to increase the national living wage to make it 60% of median earnings. The Conservatives commit to continuing to spend 0.7% of GDP on foreign aid. They also plan to scrap the triple lock on state pensions, replacing it with a double lock. The Conservatives stick to their commitment to build 1 million new houses by 2020 and then another 500,000 by the end of 2022. The Tories also have a plan to build new social housing, which will then be sold privately after 10 to 15 years. Once the houses are available to buy, the current tenants have an automatic right to buy them. The government will then use the money raised from sales to build more houses. They also commit to halving the number of people who are homeless by 2022 and eliminating it by 2027. The Tories pledged to spend at least 2% of GDP on defence, with a commitment to increase this by a minimum of 0.5% above inflation each year. They also commit to keeping the overall size of the armed forces the same, as well as keeping Trident. The Conservatives want to spend £1 billion on modernising the UK prisons, and they promise to legislate if disproportionate use of force against black, Asian and ethnic minorities in prisons continues. The Conservatives say they'll offer a vote to MPs to repeal the Hunting Act, which currently bans fox hunting. The Tories want to review the current system of rail ticketing in an attempt to remove complexity and perverse pricing. They also want to set minimum service levels for train companies during periods of industrial action. In addition to this, they want to create extra capacity and added lines on the railway to deal with overcrowding. The Tories say they only want a Scottish referendum to happen once Brexit has played out, and that there should only be a referendum if there's public consent for it to happen. The Conservatives want to make voters present ID before they're allowed to vote in the future. They also want to change constituency boundaries to cut down the number of MPs from 650 to 600. In addition to this, they want to make progress towards a more regulated internet where crimes online are treated similar to crimes offline. We'll be releasing a video about this soon, so keep an eye out. We're going to be releasing more videos in the coming days to break down the specifics of some of these policies, so make sure to like this page to stay on top of this and any other developments in the election.